Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark from SolarGames, and do you guys miss me? I miss you, all of you, so much. So yeah, big news upstairs in the ivory tower of Wizard of the Coast that Cynthia Williams has resigned, and Wizard of the Coast is now looking for a new CEO. Just kidding. I can't. Okay, honestly. Okay, so between you and me, okay. If WOTC'S came out to me and be like, Mark, CEO, you in? I'd be like, hell yeah, brother. I would take that job in an instant, but they're not going to like what I do with the company. Or maybe they will. I can be very devious. We'll see. I think the fans will like me. I think the collectors will like me. I'm not sure if the current player base will like me, but I think the old school player base would like me. And I'll tell you this, the old school player base has a lot more money. So maybe we're going to be okay. I don't know. Okay, but honestly, I'm never going to get called into this job. I probably honestly would never take it either way. Do you really want to be on a ship that's kind of like gigantic, can't really turn, and it's also kind of sinking? You know, it's like, if I know it's the Titanic, I'm not getting on that ship, okay? I'm smarter than that. I have enough sense, at least, to know. Anyways, so Cynthia Williams, right, leaves Wizard of the Coast after 2 years. And she's been there for 2 years, and some people would argue maybe the best 2 years of Wizard of the Coast history, right? In revenue and what they've done for the company of Hasbro, that's just like, I don't know. If Wizard of the Coast is a sinking ship, Hasbro is the ship that's already sunk and like is pulling Wizard of the Coast down with it, right? So, all right. So under her reign, right, WOTC did amazing numbers. Like you can't deny that during when Cynthia Williams was the CEO, Wizard of the Coast did crazy good numbers, right? Between like, you know, the Lord of the Rings sets, all of the Universes Beyond stuff that she was involved with. I don't know how many of these projects were started before her. I would assume probably quite a bit, because usually Wizard of the Coast designs about like, you know, 2 to 4 years in advance. But I know that there were a lot of projects that were more recent, and things were definitely squeezed in because of upper management pushing like certain project forward, delaying other projects back, etc. But in general, investors, I think honestly, investors are, look, I think people would look at Hasbro as a stock and say the investors are not happy. I completely agree. But I would also argue that without Wizard of the Coast being there to kind of keep the ship alive, investors would be much more angry. In fact, I think most of the investors would have jumped ship if Hasbro's did not have Wizard of the Coast, right? Because if you look at the numbers, no one's going to be with your company that's consistently losing that much money, can't compete in the toy market with like your unique IPs, and stay with you for years and years and years. So, and making stupid decisions like buying E1, right? By the way, like crazy, right? Like I, as somebody who doesn't understand finance, I don't know anything. I'm just some dude on the internet, right? I called that shit out. The day they purchased E1, I was like, that's a dumb idea. Don't do it. You know, I compared it to Marvel, which is also bought for the same price by Disney, and why that was an amazing idea, right? Anyways, so I think overall, though, like the player base has mixed feelings, right? So let's say investors are really happy with what Cynthia did for Wizard of the Coast. The fans, the players have mixed feelings. I think they'd like some of the more inclusive products of Wizard of the Coast. Majority of the fans don't like that it's overprinted, right? Some people probably like it for the, you know, game piece army out there. I see you with your, you know, chess pieces and stuff. You know, your rooks, you know, infinite rooks and infinite pawns. I get it. Okay, we want Shieldred to be a pawn, right? So everyone has Shieldred, but then Shieldred's not worth a lot of money. Anyways, okay, like I don't know. Mixed feelings about her. So she leaves, and there's, you know, the internet's like crazy now. Oh, she got fired. Instantly, of course she got terminated. Oh, everyone hates her. Oh, if you overprint, you get fired. First of all, I don't know what kind of idiots are spreading this kind of stupid rumors. To be fair, right? Yes, if you're a corporate exec, there will never be a news article, public notification from the company that says We fired Cynthia Williams. We fired our CEO. That will never happen. You will always be offered a graceful exit. Some of you who work in the corporate world have seen this, like myself. Like, there's always going to be turnovers and changes in your exec team. And essentially, they get kind of like a graceful exit, right? You're offered, hey, you should just go look for another job. It's a pretty clear sign that it's not working out. And other times, it's more obvious, like, you're not clicking, and you offer to resign, or you offer to go find another job. Now, what's kind of weird, right, is, of course, to the outside, firing an exec, and that exec actually resigning and retiring, whatever, kind of looks the same. It's kind of, you can't really tell which one's which. A good example of this, an exec being fired, is if you took like Bob Chapek, right, and Bob Iger from Disney. By the way, okay, Bob Chapek, Bob Iger, Disney executives. So Bob Iger used to run Disney a while back and did a great job. Everyone loved him, even though he kind of, I would argue, he was setting the company on a path of kind of like unsustainable path growth, but whatever. Bob Chapek gets kind of like pulled in as Iger's like, I'm ready to retire. I've done this for too long. I've done too many good things. And Bob Iger, by the way, fucking genius, okay? This guy basically is like this, right? He goes on to Disney, does a bunch of acquisitions and projects that are fresh. People love it. There's a ton of revenue coming into the company. And before like the storm, he exits. He's like, okay, I've done a lot of good stuff. I'm going to leave on a high note. And so many people can't quit while they're ahead, right? Gambling, whatever. Bob Iger quit. So Bob Chapek came in, and he unfortunately had to deal with like the agendaed, media, people who were like, oh, we need more like, I don't know, like females and whatever into all media, right? All the social initiatives that has to be put in place. And Bob Chapek, unfortunately, has to be there to kind of balance that between like state of Florida and the LGBT issue there, and et cetera. Right? So Bob Chapek did not do a good job. He leaves. And when he left, the same thing. Hey, he resigns. But Bob Iger comes right back in. And for Disney to get Bob Iger, who basically said, I retire, I'm not coming back, to come back, there was a lot of money on the line, okay? And because how quickly that transition happened, Bob Chapek definitely got fired. And again, other context, right? Like the fact that like people didn't like him, the fact that the stock tanked under his reign, is pretty good sign that Bob Chapek was fired. Cynthia Williams here, not so clear, right? Because yes, I can agree, the fans did not like her, but for all intents and purposes, the fans don't determine whether execs gets hired or fired. I mean, we don't like, Chris Cox. He's still there. He's running the bigger ship that's in the water. Cynthia's ship at least is afloat, right? Chris Cox's ship's in the fucking water, and he's not fired. So the board is probably very happy with Cynthia because Cynthia's bringing in money, right? The investors are probably really happy with Cynthia because overall, Cynthia is keeping the company alive. Without Cynthia, without Wizard of the Coast, where is this ship? Where is Hasbro as a company? So you could make the argument like maybe it's her decisions, but again, some of these decisions are going to hurt the company long term. But financially, looking at the paper, Wizard of the Coast is doing fine, right? Yes, overprinting, yes, whatever. But Cynthia has a plan. If you think about it, where did Cynthia come from? Amazon, right? And Microsoft Gaming, whatever. And of course, one of the cigarette companies. I don't remember which one. But Cynthia single-handedly was able to get Magic cards to be sold on Amazon. And this is a big deal, right? Because before this, you kind of had to go to LGS and distributions, whatever. She cut 2 people out of that line and then sold Magic cards essentially for the same price that the store was selling. So she took 2 people, 2 middlemen out of the whole freaking, downward like equity fall of all the money, right? And she took all of that gains and gave it back to Wizards. So yeah, insane profit margins. It makes sense, and that's her. You can't. It's not other people. And then the whole collector stuff too, right? So a lot of this collector's booster stuff came around Cynthia. She took that and like extremed it, right? So of course, serialized cards under Cynthia. You got which by the way, I don't know how people feel, but nowadays, of course, collector boosters that have serialization sells really well. Ones that don't sell very well. Pretty obvious, right? You got your collectors but also universes beyond. So like Warhammer collectors, for example, or like Doctor Who collectors, and now the Fallout collectors packs, whatever, right? Commander decks. They're worth more money. So for all the things we hate, again, I'm not saying I agree with this, right? Like, if you're watching this video, you're like, oh, Mark's sold out. He's all about collectors now. He's all about like making money. Yes, I'm all about making money. But no, I am still on your side, okay? I'm just saying from the investor, the board member of Hasbro perspective, Cynthia is doing a great job. There's no way they would have fired her. It's my read. So, why did she leave? Could be a lot of reasons, right? So the thing that is kind of like giving maybe some hints as to the fire route is the fact that she leaves abruptly, but there's nobody to replace her. Now, I would still argue that's not a reason why they fired her. That does, of course, say that it's a departure that the company did not expect. Meaning, I don't think Hasbro prepared ahead of time that Cynthia was not going to be there. So, and usually for graceful exits, like whether it's a firing, whether it's a Cynthia actually resigning on good terms, usually the CEO would find a replacement for herself before she leaves. Or if in the case of a firing, but it's kind of graceful, they would say, hey, Cynthia, you're going to be here until XYZ person's here. And that's X amount of time, right? And there's like a little handoff type of thing where maybe both CEOs are there, but the secondary one, the new one isn't like introduced to the company yet, kind of like sort of, but not really. None of that happened here, which tells me that this was abrupt and this was not expected by maybe Cynthia, but more likely Hasbro. So my guess is that I think actually Cynthia probably left on some differences of principles. So it was an abrupt thing. It was not expected by at least one party, maybe both. But I think the differences in their ideas and principles was what caused it. So hear me out, right? I think internally, the staff at WOTC probably don't like Cynthia because they are a lot of those guys, right? People who have been working at Wizards of the Coast for like 20, 30 years are from the old school days. They look at what Cynthia's doing. They're hearing the feedback from the fans. They're like, you know what? She's doing all this stuff. She's destroying our game. Rah, rah, rah. They're on that path, right? They want, because look, a lot of people join the gaming industry because they have passion. They're not there to make money. They're there to like, it's like, oh man, wouldn't it be so cool if I can earn money and also play the game I love? That's what, look, for the same reasons that gaming industry abused people with this passion, that is the reason that these people do go to these companies, right? So I think a lot of WOTC employees are in that framework. They're like, they see it as Cynthia destroying their hobby too. So internally, I'm sure she's not very popular, okay? Maybe among the finance team, back office, she's very popular. But among like the creatives, the designers, the people that Wizards of the Coast probably value, she is not popular, right? And so, of course, the problem is she's also bringing revenue. So if she's not popular and she's actually doing a bad job, it's a very simple vote, right? Internally, nobody likes you. Externally, investors and board don't like you. You're gone. Easy, right? But it's not like that. She was making money. She was making a lot of money. The numbers for Wizards was good. And yes, there's some economic downturns. It did come down a little bit, but those were all within expectations. Look, the woman was making 40% return on investment for the company, for Wizards of the Coast. That's insane, right? So her how she's doing her job is totally fine. And again, reminder, her relationship being from Amazon probably helped get that whole thing streamlined really fast to be able to get product to Amazon, for Amazon to go mass distribute out to people, and for them to basically start selling direct to customers and earn way more money. You got to thank Cynthia for that. It's not, Chris Cox probably couldn't have pulled that very easily, right? Convince a big store like Amazon to carry your product directly. Not so easy, right? It's not as easy. If you talk to any of the vendors that try to sell to Walmart or to Costco, that process is very rigorous, how they like raise you. And then on top of that, they're going to squeeze every penny from you because Amazon wants to take the profit, not necessarily give it to Wizards. So for them to have to come to a like fairly good happy medium between the two companies, Cynthia definitely helped there. So those are not the reasons, right? And you can't deny, like, no matter how much you and I both hate collaborations and universes beyond, you can't deny the fact that they were successful, that there are definitely a lot of the universes beyond that were doing very well. And that's why if you look at the lineup coming into 2024, it's all universes beyond. By the way, I'll be carrying a lot of those Final Fantasy packs. Fucking, dude, that set is going to be sick. Okay, I love FF Final Fantasy. And I can't believe it's coming to Magic Gathering. And to be fair, right? I don't like Universes Beyond, but fuck, if they have Final Fantasy, I'm buying the cards. I don't care what people think, okay? Shit on me all you want, but I'm getting those Final Fantasy cards. Fucking Sephiroth, like, Tifa, let's go. Okay, so my guess as to why this is such a weird, abrupt thing is probably there's some falling out, right? Internally, people, like, maybe there were some brewing disagreements. Internally, people don't like her. They want to get her fired, but like she's doing well, so board likes her. It's kind of a weird thing. Maybe she tried to push for a promotion, a raise perhaps, something like that, right? But like, the numbers don't, like, basically I think something happened where she had this expectation, like, I'm doing really well, and execs that do this kind of numbers should get paid this much. Then maybe the company's like, we're not, as a company, doing very well, so it will be pretty bad optically if we pay you that much. So we're going to have to not do that. And so it's probably something like that happened, where there's a disagreement on compensation, maybe her management ideas. Maybe she has some, like, forward-looking plans for Universes Beyond or Wizards of the Coast, Magic Gathering, D&D, and she felt like she wasn't able to achieve those goals because some people were holding her back. Right, and so she felt like, well, if I can't do that, I might as well do that somewhere else. And so her abruptly leaving like this signals probably like some sort of disagreement like this, right? Or honestly, it could just be a family emergency, like something completely unrelated. So it is what it is, right? But I think more importantly for us on this channel is really understanding, what does this mean for us? Does this actually change anything material for Wizards of the Coast? No, I don't think so. Look, Wizards of the Coast has been being very successful doing this, right? Going down this path. They've now established that relationship with Amazon, so it's unlikely that any other new CEO is going to be able to come in and actually say, oh, well, you know what? We should value the game store more and value distribution. No, they're going to go down the Amazon line. Everyone knows that makes more money. Why would you stop that? Universes Beyond, you think they're going to hold back and stop that? No way. They're going to continue it because it's been working, right? One thing that Wizards of the Coast does very aggressively, not well, but aggressively, is that anything that's even remotely successful, they are going to freaking push that to the dirt, right? So when does Universes Beyond end for Magic the Gathering? When nobody fucking cares about it anymore. And that's going to be still years in the future, right? You got to burn through like 1,000 IPs before we get there. So I don't think Universes Beyond is going anywhere. I don't think we're going to go back to like an old school model. There may be some other flares, like maybe organized play is going to come back more in a bigger way. But we're already kind of seeing that. So that's not even like a good, like that's not really a change if there's a new CEO. So in my opinion, like nothing's really going to change. And okay, yeah, of course, let's just talk about it. Prices, right? People are like, well, Magic's too expensive. Maybe this is like firing Cynthia Williams to reduce prices, right? Are you kidding me? They sold you play boosters at almost double the price of a draft booster like 2 years ago, and everyone's eating it up. I don't see the sales slowing down. I see sales going faster. So essentially, at this point, they've won on every single aspect. There's no way Magic the Gathering is becoming cheaper. And don't even get me started on Modern Horizons 3, okay? That thing is priced at master set, and it's not the same print run as master sets. Think about that. So nothing's going to change. And realistically, like we're probably going to get more. There's no information out there about why she's leaving. And like we just keep looking. If Cynthia Williams joins another company within a month or two, right, we'll know what happened. She got a better offer. She left. And she couldn't get the same offer from Wizards of the Coast. If she doesn't appear for a while, who knows? Maybe she had some disagreement, went home and just, like slept on her money, right? There's probably like tons of Hasbro stocks that she's just rolling in right now. Who cares? But we will also be getting maybe some more information in 2 days on the Hasbro's earning call. So I'll be there. I'll listen to it. I'll, again, like as usual, translate it to you guys and see what's happening. Give you all the highlights and top line why you should buy Hasbro stock. Don't actually buy Hasbro stock, by the way. Also, not a financial channel. This is just me shit talking. Okay, do not buy anything based on any advice I'm giving you. This is not financial advice. I am not a fiduciary. All that stuff. So yeah. So I think honestly, Cynthia Williams resigning is a big nothing burger. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I don't think there's really any juice to squeeze. I may be wrong, but again, just all the facts does not point to the fact that she, was fired. There was nothing like that. And honestly, if I was an investor of Hasbro, I would say keep her there. She's doing great. Y'all over here on the Hasbro side need to figure out your shit. Chris Cox. If I was investors or board member of Hasbro, I would have fired Chris, right? And maybe put Cynthia up there and see what she does with the toys. Anyways, that's going to do it for me for today. I hope that's a little bit more informative, maybe a different perspective. I see a lot of people online talking about how Cynthia must have been fired because of, whatever. I think it's kind of dumb. It's probably way too early to call. I'm not saying that she wasn't fired. I'm just saying we don't know. Mark, SolarGames. See you next time. Stay classy.